Welcome to Crossbow Hunters of Minnesota's podcast. I'm your host, Michael Keeler, joined by my co-host, Adam McDermott and Jeremy Afelt. Hey guys, this is Crossbow Hunters of Minnesota. We're doing our blog on Broadheads today. And my name is Michael. I'm the owner and creator of Crossbow Hunters of Minnesota. And I've got my sidekicks here, Jeremy and Adam. And they're joining me today on this podcast. So, like I said, we're going to do that on Broadheads. And then and I think each one of us are bringing to the table like what we like to use or what we have used in the past and kind of a little bit of information on that. So I'll probably just start out tonight and I'll go through. I got three different broadheads that I brought tonight. So and you guys chime in at any point if you got a question on any of them or anything, just jump in there and ask me. So I think I'm going to start tonight. I'll start tonight off with one of the more popular, I think is the more popular broadhead for archery in general, and that's the Rage. The old saying, put the rage through the cage, and so this is the Rage that I have for crossbow, and that's a 2-inch cut. Okay. And that's all we can legally use here in Minnesota is the 2-inch cut. Anything wider than that is illegal.
And,
Now,
and I wonder, does the DNR not caught up with the 3-inch ones, or do they not? I mean, a lot of states you can use a 3-inch, but
yeah,
just Minnesota behind on the times? We don't know. So
yeah, exactly. I don't know how they came up with that restriction, but it's in the bylaws there. So for now we have to. I know a lot of guys would like to use a 3-inch schwacker, but
Yeah,
we can't right now. So. But that cutting, like I say, the cutting diameter on that Rage is 2 inches, and those are made out of aircraft grade aluminum. The barrel on it, or the ferrules, whatever you want to call it. And the blades are stainless steel blades. And what's nice about these is that if you look there, let's see if I can get that. You can change the blades on these. So if you shoot this and use it, they have a place on there where you can actually change out the blades. I don't know. I think you could probably resharpen them too if you wanted to, But they really, really revolutionized the archery hunting back in 2006 when they came out with expandables. Before when I started hunting those, they wouldn't allow the expandables. They had to be a fixed broadhead. So these expandables haven't been really in the hunting world here in Minnesota for very long. Well, I mean, 2006, it's a long time, but it's not like a real long time. But so the Rage or go ahead, you gonna say something?
yeah, on Rage. Where do you find the replacement blades at for those?
Yeah,
And does
yeah, that's a good question.
can you replace the tip on that also, or is that not replaceable?
Yeah, you can replace the tip. There is a screw right on the end of that tip.
Oh, okay, yep,
So you
yep,
can replace that. And then on the other side of the ferrule here, you can see there's a screw for your blades there. So,
yeah.
and you can get those and replacement blades through Faradine Outdoors. They're out of Superior, Wisconsin. Or you
Oh,
can go to their website too, at faradine.com. They're the ones
Yeah.
that make Rage. So that's where you can find them at. And the Rage are, they come in a package of three, and they're the Expo ones here. They're like $45 for the packet. But if you go up to the like your they have a hypodermic by
Yeah.
Rage.
Yep.
This one's used, but the hypodermic by Rage, well, I think that killed a doe, but um, they're running right around 54.99 for a packet of them. So they're not really overly priced, but yet they're not like some of the other ones where they're $30. But so the next one I brought, unless you guys have any questions on that Rage, the next one that I'm gonna show here is the Magnus Stinger, and that's a fixed blade broadhead, and it's got the cutting edges on all sides. Now, Magnus Broadheads.com is where you can get these, but you can buy these pretty much through any archery supplier, you
Right.
know. And this is 150 grain. The Rage that we were looking at were only 100 grain, but you can get them in heavier grain, you know.
Right.
So the Magnus Stinger here, that's a two-blade broadhead, like I was saying. And one thing about these is that these are guaranteed for life. Okay. So you can resharpen them, or you can buy, if you look here, there's a screw right there. You can buy replacement blades for these two. So you can
Right.
just slide the blade out and put a new one in. But if you have this thing fail on you, all you have to do is, I think you send them a picture in it through the email, and they'll send you out a new broadhead. So that's kind of cool, if it ever failed. Or they're out of Kansas, uh, Great Bend, Kansas. So, and I was going to say their blades are made out of that 420 stainless steel, and they're 0.40 inches thick. So you got a pretty thick blade there, you know. Um, I have not killed anything with one of these yet, but I've seen a lot of it on other videos where guys have used those. So I can't contest to them that they are, as far as personal use, but I have shot them in my range here in the 100-yard backyard, and they've held up just fine, and they shoot really well too for a fixed blade. Usually you get a really better flight out of a open on impact blade than you do a solid blade like that. But yeah, so that's two of them. The last one I have, and then I'll turn this over to you guys.
Okay.
And the only reason that I have these is because I am an affiliate with Centerpoint Archery, and when they have sent these. These are the dead point. I have another package open, but I don't have those tips with me there. So the broadheads. So that's what they kind of look like. So they're kind of on the same basis as any other really open on impact broadhead. They got the chisel tip on them and stuff like that, and they're 100 grain. You can get three of them. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys the price on the Magnus. The Magnus are $45 for two broadheads. Okay. The dead point ones we're looking at here from Center Point, they're 100 grain, and they sell these on their website, centerpoint.com, and they're $29.99. You get three of them in a package. Okay. So they're made with they're a little bit thinner blade on it. They're only a 0.35. but they are the 420 stainless steel blade. So that's aircraft grade aluminum ferrule on them too. So they're pretty durable from what their specs are telling us. So we'll find out this year because that's my choice of broadheads to hunt with this year. I'm going to try those and see how, since I'm affiliated with them and their products have been really good to me, I'm going to give that a shot this year and see how that goes. But you can find them at centerpointarchery.com or velocityoutdoor.com. Velocity is also the maker of Raven crossbows. So that's where the tie-in, and they're out of Superior, Wisconsin too. So they're right in our neighborhood, which is nice. So, but that's all I have so far on those. And unless you guys have any other questions for me on those, I'll turn it over to whoever would like to go next. Share their broadhead study.
Another important thing is like, how do you practice with the broadhead too? Do you kind of just have one as a dummy,
Yeah,
or I know some it come with, of course, some come with practice tips.
yeah, this is the rage practice tip here.
Okay.
So they do have rage. I do have their practice tip. Now, the stinger, I've just shot the stingers, the fixed blade, and you can take those and sharpen them up
Awesome.
with a bastard file. It
Okay.
doesn't take much. Now, one thing, that's a good point you brought up because I wanted to mention that if anyone is looking to resharpen their broadheads, or even when you take them out of the package and first get them, you should really run something across those blades to make sure that there's no burring and stuff on them. Now, Ranchberry, if you look up his videos, there's a lot of videos on many, many different types of broadheads and how to sharpen them correctly. So I've really learned a lot from from the Ranchberry in that broadhead area. So yeah. So yeah, the fixed blades I just shoot at the targets and then clean them up. So mhm.
Um, so, uh, um, so everybody probably knows you can't use these for deer in Minnesota, but of course for the 3-inch whacker. Um, so of course it comes with a band. Um, and then, of course these they go in and then open up. So it's kind of nice. It uses more, not as much energy because it gets in before it opens up. Where a lot open up before they even go in. So I've used these on turkeys before. And they, of course, they cut a big hole. And next one is
So how's the blood trail on that?
it was from a turkey, so they really don't have a decent blood trail that you can see, but it didn't go too far. Just
Yeah.
kind of ran over and flopped around a little bit.
So
I
is
wish I
that,
could. What?
I'm sorry, is that the broadhead you used this last spring? I
Um,
suppose you couldn't. It's 3 inch.
or you can, as far as I know, you can't use them on deer, but there's no
Uh,
regulation on turkey, from what I've
gotcha.
read. Those are they come with three and a practice head and a bunch of bands for I think 49.99 roughly.
Yeah.
Um, and of course the practice, which is a bonus about expandables, is you don't have to worry about resharpening or anything like that. You just shoot them. And then what my next favorite is Slick Trick. I don't know if you can see that,
Boy,
but
those are popular.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they're only, of course, they're only 150 grain. They come in a lot more different sizes.
Yeah.
But I always wonder, I'm not trying to say one's better than the other, but
Right.
if I can do this right. But yeah, you have 3 inches here, but it's like you have a bigger hole with this
Oh,
one. It's so I'm not saying one's better than the other, but it's like this leaves a bigger hole in a way, but this one reaches out more to try to cut more things, of course.
yeah.
So yeah, these are the slick tricks. Um,
So does that come with like a collar or anything on it
just a
that you screw in, before you screw it onto your bolt?
yeah,
Yeah.
just a little like that, and then
Okay.
um, just about a month ago they have like buy two get one free every summer, so I took advantage of that. I don't
Nice.
know. I think most companies might do that, but yeah, this left a big hole in it. Well, it went through the breasts, the cat, it would made a complete pass through. Where on these with a slower bow, I've had them go through but kind of stick out the other side.
Yeah. Not a complete pass through. Yeah.
Because it was a slower bow, so it's
So
understandable. If it was a faster one, I probably wouldn't have been able to find the broadhead arrow.
true.
Um,
Yeah.
so when I practice with these, I kind of have a dummy one like this one, so I don't worry about sharpening it. But you can sharpen it, or you can get replacement blades.
Cool.
So, and of course, you don't have to worry about bands or collars or anything. But I've never had any issues with expandables, so there's that.
So
This
what
what
do those run at them?
these were about same price, 49.99. It was buy two get one free.
Yeah.
It seemed like the prices of broadheads have gone up a little bit in the past couple of
Yeah.
years, probably like
Yeah.
everything else.
I don't know if
But
it's because of the steel industry that, we're buying all that overseas or what, but God, I remember when we used to buy satellite broadheads when we were bow hunting for pennies,
yeah,
but Muzzy the same way, but
I remember a box of 30 odd six for like 8.99.
yeah.
Crazy. And then this is a Excalibur
Mm,
bolt cutter. So these you can replace the blades too. 150 grain. It's about the same size. I've noticed, at least with my bows, every 50 grain affects your feet per second by about 20.
sure, that
Is
sounds
that
great.
is that 3 to 1 or something like that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've hit turkeys with these too, and they all run, which is the worst part about it. But usually found them tipping over, and then it goes through so fast you usually can't find your arrow, which is good. But
Yeah.
and then
That's
one
what
other,
that's what lighted knocks are for.
yep, and and another one I haven't shot yet, but this is the 10 point version.
That
Montech.
that looked like a nice broadhead.
Yeah. It's one piece and it's easier to sharpen because you can.
Mhm.
I know Ranch Fairy is a big fan of the ones you showed, the
Magnus Stinger.
Magnus. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good sharpening systems for that. So,
Yeah. Very cool.
yep.
Looks like it has a lot of cutting edges on it.
Yep.
They're long, like, is that
Yeah.
a
Like
50 grain there?
this one's 100.
100. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, because funny you say that because some people they want a tip like this because they say that's kind of cut on contact,
Yeah.
where this kind of is too. But I mean, either way, it's gonna do a lot
Yeah.
of damage.
I
But
wonder which one would go through bone though. Both of them will go through the hide, but there's a bone, that's what those nice about those chisel points, I think. I don't know. That'd be interesting. Maybe what we should do someday is get a block of that testing gel, shoot them in there and see.
yeah,
That'd be a good experiment.
yeah,
But at least this is giving people out there, guys that are just maybe even just getting into crossbows, a little bit of something to think about.
yeah,
as far as what broadheads they want to shoot for hunting this year. You know?
Gentlemen, I'm going to step out for a bit. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I think it seems like everybody likes expandables, but it's kind of like crossbows. Everybody wants the fastest one, which we all do.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you can be influenced so much on the internet. Like you get a broadheads that you don't think it'd ever use, but the advertisement's so good, it's almost draws you in.
Yeah.
So
That REK, I think they're an up and coming.
REK.
Yeah,
Okay.
broadhead. I was dealing with them a little bit on whether I was going to become an affiliate with them at one point, but I decided not to. I just stayed strictly with Center Point right now. And so, but they have a really nice broadhead too. If anybody's looking, there's another resource for them, you know. So, yeah, I never had any problems with the expandables not opening. So,
Yeah, I mean, me neither. But you hear stories, and you never know if it's user error or if it's hits a stick or a limb on the way there, it might open up. Or I always
yeah,
wonder, do the bands wear out after a while?
yeah.
But like,
Whenever I've shot mine, on the Rage, I have
yeah,
a container full of extra bands, and I just replace them.
it's
But
like
I
you
don't
can see
know. Yeah,
how much that stretches out.
yeah,
So
that's cool. All right, well, listen, we're gonna hear from Jeremy next.
yeah,
So, but
Okay, my broadhead of choice this year
perfect.
is the Schwacker 1.75, as stated. We're only allowed to use 2 inch. Um, I really like these, just like I said, for the fact of it and
Yeah.
that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like um,
Okay.
deployed. You
That'll
know, it has
probably do
that,
some damage.
yeah, and it has that screw on there also
yeah.
to change blades on these. Of course, it has a rubber band. It
Sure.
has a rubber band up there to hold the blade shut. Generally, on mine, being I shoot a kind of a fast crossbow, I did get a hold of. I did email Schwacker. They did recommend to put 2 bands on, just for that reason. I know there are people
Well,
that run these at um, on a ground lot, wherever they're hunting at. Sometimes it get wet, so they put an extra band on just to make sure that the band um, uh,
doesn't slide off or
yeah,
something
or
during
if the band
flight.
goes, it doesn't prematurely open in flight.
Yeah.
The other one I like to use, and I don't have it here unfortunately, is the several Bustos 2 point or the 150. Yeah, there you go. Adam's got it there. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There's
The, yeah. The
yeah,
reason
there's
why I like
the
them
pre
is because of the lock on there.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Cool.
you can screw that. You can screw a screw in there and lock the blades in it, and actually use that head as your practice head. And what
Oh, that's
you do
cool.
not do like I did last year, use that and forget to take the practice screw out.
Hmm. Hmm. Sure.
You know, because you get
Yeah.
busy, you forget. Yeah, I took a shot at a nice doe last year with them, and thankfully enough, I missed. But when I got over there and I looked at my arrow, I'm like, well, why did the broadhead open? That's kind of weird for hitting the dirt. Then I
Oh,
realized once
no.
I got home, I looked, that practice screw was still in there.
That's
So
something you really have to be aware of.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yep. Now with the Schwackers, like Adams, I have practice plates, and yes, they do fly like the um
P6.
uh like the Broadhead itself. It does. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So what are you going to hunt with this year then?
I
That
think I'm gonna try out. I'm gonna try out these Schwackers this year. The 1.75s and let the Robustos kind of sit on the back shelf. I've also looked at, and they're not here yet. I wish they would have been here. But I also picked up some of the Slick Trick torch.
oh,
Hmm.
They're 2 inch.
yeah.
They're that 2 inch cut. You know, like we've talked about. You know, like with the broadhead thing. Um, that language on there is so weird and so wrong that on how big the when I called the DNR, he basically told me hunt with if you get a hold of a 175, you'd be really good. Um, as long as the total cut isn't over 2 inches, either at impact or whatever, you should be fine. Um, they are trying to. The last time I talked to was a month or so ago. They're trying to get it past allow bigger cutting broadheads like the 3 inch
Yeah.
track and the slots and stuff like that. But the problem with that is they don't have enough. They told me if you want something done, you got to get a hold of your
Yeah.
DNR or your legislature or whatever and tell them you want it
Yeah.
out. But
But
anyway,
it really comes down to his placement. You know,
yeah, yep,
you can knock
yep,
a 3 inch hole in a deer in the rump and it's not going to do you much good. But if you can put something through that vital area, that's
yeah. When
the
you hit them
key
up,
placement.
to no man's land, between that spine and that
Yeah.
that you know, you yeah, shot placement is definitely um you
Key.
know yeah. No, I like these here trackers. They run about the same as y'all. I found these um for well, I gotta admit I bought these off of eBay. They come in this here pack, this here which I
That's
marked. They come in here and there was 12 in here for I want to say I paid $25 for the
hmm,
12
Wow.
10.
nice.
So I got 9 left, so I don't have to buy um uh replacement blades for a while.
Yeah.
What I would
Mhm.
suggest to do is I don't know if y'all can let's see what I got here. This here I have is a camera. There it is. It's a little band that I have. These I bought two off of eBay, which is I can't get a hold of it. Oh well. There's on here. Um, I replaced these bands because they came with a like a thicker. I don't know. They didn't look like the tracker bands, and I wasn't really impressed with them. So I went on there and they suggested that I buy these because these are actually the tracker bands. The other ones I had on there were just a tad.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I was scared that with that they wouldn't fly or they bust open or something like that. So I went and bought. I got a pack. Yeah, I got a pack of these little bands here. I got 20 of them for $5.
So listen, here's what I think we should do. I think what we should do is have another podcast after hunting season about broadheads. And then we'll come back and give feedback on what these broadheads, whichever ones we use, we'll give our input on that.